2 of dossier school results automation. We are back. Last week we were able to see how we can put some formulas together, and that has given us all this an edge today. So today we want to see how can we place some sensors in some sensitive parts, especially data entry. We know that result is very sensitive. Any error in the data supplied can bring a lot of offset in the result, and we have already started putting some when we're writing the if statement, and we are going to do that today, fine tune it, and then clean up the whole workspace, because we like our work to be neat and tidy. So what do we do today? We are going to restrict entry of this value. If you enter a value that's more than this, let me quickly show us that. For example, in this other one, if we enter, let's say, value like 12, it flag off, as I've introduced before, it flag off that rate. And if you are the one entering, rate is an error, so I have to check what happened. Is it that this value is more, or this one's supposed to be 12 actually? So you now know, if the maximum is supposed to be 12, you can now change it to 12 and the error will disappear. Or if the maximum was supposed to be 10, it's 10, and then means you have to reduce this to whatsoever score the student has. The same thing is applicable to all other range here, even up to exam. If the maximum exam is 50, if you put 51, it's going to flag off. You put 50.1, it's going to flag off. Whatsoever value is going to flag off. So let us see. Okay, let us see how we can put it and then restrict it more. All right, the first thing we want to do will be for us to place that code here. We are using conditional formatting, so we are going to select our range. We are selecting our range. We come here, conditional formatting, click on it, and then new row. We have a lot of things in conditional formatting. If you click, you can see greater than, less than, equals, and also, and so on and so forth. We can use this greater than if the value is greater than. Greater than is if we want to have a specific range, but now we want to use a formula, so we use new row, use a formula to determine which cells to format. Okay, what is our formula we want to put today? We want to say if this particular value of that cell, so we are going to remove the restriction by pressing F4. If those is what greater than what this, the value should be what should be the format? The format should be what? Okay, the field should be red, while the font should be white and bold. Okay, we click OK, and then we save. Okay, so if we put 11 here, it's going to flag off. You've seen it. If we put a 15 here, it's going to flag off. If we put 10.5, it's going to flag off that error. So that is how we're going to repeat for all. All right, we put it one by one. Conditional formatting, new row equals to this, and we remove the lock, equals greater than this. We format it with a red, bold, field is red. Okay, the font is white. We click on OK and OK. So if we put any value 12, it's going to flag it up as well. We do the same thing for assignment. you select the range that you want to change. The range you want to change, come to conditional formatting, new row, you select on it. The reason why we are unblocking, we don't want to reference to a particular cell. You have to be careful when working with the conditional formulas and conditional formatting, because at times it can be tricky. You must understand the concept of how to use conditional formatting. If you don't know how to use it, see these ones, we have already have some that are more, so that is how it's going to be. Now we do like that for the next one. That's how we're going to do for each of them. I would have said we copy, but at this point we have to be very careful so that we don't reference another cell or another row. That is why I'm taking my time to do it one after the other. Okay, so these greater than these, our format should be red, our field should be white and bold. Okay, all right, we go to the next one. Because of time, we have to move faster. Please, I would have said, okay, let me cut and come back, but since this is one of the things we are going to do, we have to show you how to do it. Excel can be useful and at the same time can be dangerous if you doesn't know what to do. I've used Excel for quite a number of time now, and I've seen how Excel is very useful with other fields, but when there is a mistake, you should be able to debug the mistake, and you must know the concept you want to achieve before you use Excel, because anything outside that can be disastrous, if you understand what I'm saying. So let us continue. We click on this and then use F4 to remove those dollar signs in front, and then this, and we format it. The color is red, the font is white and bold. Okay, the last one for exams. Okay, formula, this, greater than this, font is white, bold, and our field is red. Okay, all right, we are through with that. Even at this point, if you enter something that is small, it's gonna flag up. Okay, so that is the first step. We have been able to place those sensors. Now what else we want to do? We're going to put a restriction here. If the name is empty, equals to empty, comma, it should be empty, else it should sum, as the if formula. If you don't know how to use if, please, you can use the Google and check how to use if statement. Maybe one of these days I will bring up a video on how to use most of these functions in Excel effectively, because what I noticed that some people find it difficult understanding most of these functions. Maybe nested if, you can use one if and nested if. Alright, you can use a combination of 2, 3, 4 functions and it works perfectly. Now let me also place another function, another restriction. We want to also restrict if this sum the sum is equal to 0, we want to return it to empty, else we sum it. Right? Okay. I need to copy the range of the format. Okay. Alright. That one has been taken care of. It stops here. What we mean is if there is no name, nothing should show. It should only show if it is only one name. For example, if we clean up this, you see, it's only this one that shows. Okay, let's undo that. Alright, let's do the same thing here. If the name equals to empty, comma, empty, else it should sum. But at the same time, if the sum equals to 0, comma, should be empty, else it should sum. Alright, so I'm going to drag this down. Let me copy and paste the format, then I will autofill. Alright, that has been taken care of. Now highest in class, that is the maximum, we are still going to place if we are not going for the name again. If this equals to empty, comma, empty, else maximum. Alright, and so you're going to place this if, okay, let me autofill, copy the range and paste the format, then these two. Right, now the next thing is what? For the grade, if this equals to empty, comma, empty, else which is sum. Alright, I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to drag it down and then copy the range and the field. Now select bold and put the field. Select bold and put the field. Okay. Now the next one is see the same thing. If this equals to empty, comma, empty, else it should divide that. If this equals to empty, comma, empty, else should divide that. Right, so we going to fill both. The formula has already been captured here. If it's equals to error, should be error. If it is equals to empty, 0 should be empty. So the next one we want to do will be this, by putting if this equals to empty, comma, empty, else it should alright, let me copy. Okay. Alright, we are through with this. We are able to clean up that. So that now the next thing we want to do is these are formats. We want it to appear when there is date, when data is entered. So we are going to use a set new rule formula. If days. Okay, equals to empty. What should be? We only need the field to be white. The border remains. Okay. Okay, so we have cleaned this up. So let us enter the right values. This one should be 4. This one should be 10 maximum. This one 8. This one 9. This one 10. This one 3. This one 5. This one 45. This one 39. So this one should be 8. This should be 4. This should be 10. Right? We have our result and we've seen it. Okay. Now we have our result well formatted. At times I like placing everything centralized. Alright. So let's format it demo. I'm going to centralize all. Okay. And I also like to change the entry value font. Alright, making it it is. Alright, this one we can make it okay. White won't work. Alright, and make it bold. We can as well change this to 12 so that the difference will be there. Now this will reduce to 2 decimal places. Alright, or even 1. Average to this 1 decimal place. Okay, now we have successfully cleaned it up. If you look at now, it looks more matured. If we change this now to 5, it's going to flag off everything. We change it to 8, only have 1, which is 7. We change it to 9, we have 2, others are invalid at the moment. Okay, so all these are let us still place more restriction. Okay, we can still place more restriction by making it still adding some conditional formatting. In case of any of these is greater than this, it should also tell us what happened. But I believe a sensible person should be able to get a value that when you see the rate, you should be able to correct it immediately before you process. So this is what we do. Now we have successfully added our work, at this point, now that we are successfully added, we okay, and so we can format this. All right, let us put a border. Okay, so let's say first thing, session 2020 slash 2021. Okay, let's say third thing, class, let's say nursery 1, and subject, let's say reading, so on. So you can supply those information, and that will make our work easy. Okay, since we don't have anything here, we can use this a field. Okay, and this other one will be hidden. We hide it. This other one will also be hidden. We hide it. Then we are going to format this. All right, you can do the same thing here. All right, that is how we produce this. Our next class, we are going to link it up by compressing the results. For example, we have basic tech, basic science, and then how can we compress it to one result? In Nigeria, basic tech is a combination of basic science, basic technology, ICT, that is the computer, and one other subject, a combination of four, while a heavy is a combination of social studies, security education, and we have a pre-vocational studies. This is a combination of Greek and economics, and home economics. And so we are going to see how we can compress those results using Excel so that it will make work easier. Remember to subscribe on our channel so that we will be bringing most of these. When we finish this, we have another interesting software we want to automation we want to put so that you can see what's the power of Excel and how you can use it to, as a teacher, to improve in your services in your schools. And we also have a standard dossier where you can we have put all these things together. You can as well contact us. We will customize for you as a school, and we have a demo where you can use and see how it works. All these things has been placed with a lot of buttons added, and you enjoy it effectively. This is thank you for watching. Subscribe, and then also share the video with others.